Hello and welcome. This is Cosmic Ninja, and I hope you are excited about this episode as I am. This is Generation 4, the Sinnoh region's Pokemon tier list. We've already done 1 through 3, and the starters and the games, so I'm bringing to you Generation 4. This is my opinion, and if you disagree, leave a comment below. If you agree, leave a comment below. Definitely hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. With that being said, let's get started. We're starting with Chimchar, Monferno, and Infernape. My favorite starter of this entire game. Turtwig, he's okay. I have used him mostly in the Pokemon Legends Arceus game, just to evolve him up. But that being said about Legends Arceus, that meant I had to also use Piplup. And, well, yeah. Um, yeah. Back to Turtwig. Turtwig was a really good option, though, for the short time when I had him on my team. Did enjoy him. As for Piplup, though, not so much. That's why I'm putting him down here in Erg. He drove me crazy. Um, but we're not going to stay on him very long. We're going to just digress and pretend it like it never happened and move on to Starly. Now, with that being said, Starly is one of my favorite regional bird Pokemon. Um, actually, out of all games, 1 through 9, Legends, all of them, Starly, Star Ravia and Staraptor are my favorite. If I could do a bird tier list, I would still be doing one soon. That being said, just gonna move on. Stick right there. And with that, we have Bidoof. Bibrel. Bidoof is like the HM Pokemon that you have on your team, kind of like Zigzagoon and some of the others. Generations 1 through, well, we're going to just say up to the Switch, had some sort of HM that you had to have to get to the Elite Four. Um, there was no Elite Four and 7, 8, or 9. So, yeah, didn't need them. So, therefore, HMs did eventually go away, thankfully. But the moves themselves stayed around in some way or form, especially Surf and Fly. Next, we have Cricketot and Cricketune. Great for Pokedex filling. Um, After that, we have Shinx and his entire line. Shinx, Luxio, and Luxray. I did have him on my team at some point. Usually early on because you catch him early on. With that being said, I did do the same with Purdue. Now, the middle evolution for Purdue is a Generation 3 Pokemon, and it kind of breaks the rule I have about playing non generational Pokemon on the first playthrough. But its final form is back to Generation 4, so therefore it works out in my favor. Um, as for the fossil Pokemon, didn't really play with them. I haven't caught them in Legends Arceus. Um, so therefore. Now, my favorite water Pokemon though are going to be Swellows and Bazil. And we're going to get to them and go over them in more detail here in a moment. Um, but as for continuing, we're going to go back to the fossils. Um, Pokedex, if I catch them, if I deal with them. Same with these 7. I This Pokemon I didn't really care for. He's kind of annoying to get a hold of. Um, Now, mind you, if you get the green one, you get the green devolved form, brown, brown, pink, pink. Unless it's the male, then you get Mothim. Um, that being said, as for bugs, this bee was actually kind of interesting in Legends Arceus. I got to play with it a little bit and had to use it on my team. And I was kind of happy I did. I had a moment where I needed a grass type move because I forgot to teach Staraptor U-turn. So yeah, live and learn. Um, I'm not a fan of Pachirisu, not one bit. So yeah, Brazil, like I said, and Floatzel are my water Pokemon choices. Same with Shows and its evolved form. I think it's Gastrodon. There's a creator that uses Shellos as one of her favorites. So I hate this cherry. Oh my gosh, we're just not gonna go into detail about that, Cherry. Thank you, Legends Arceus. Um, yeah, take a moment there on that one, right? Never had so much frustration with a Pokemon trying to catch it and the different forms. Stupid Cherry. All right, moving on. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. For grass Pokemon though, it's always been Roserade in this generation. Ambipom is a good Pokemon, usually catching for the Pokedex. Um, don't really use him on my team very much because his starter is Generation 3, I believe, or 2. Is it 2? I think it's 2. Um, I also could probably do a monkey tier list or a video with Chimchar, Ambipom, the 3 elementals, any other monkeys that are in the game. But then I'd have a problem. I have 2 fire monkeys at some point. So I don't know if I will or not. Especially since there's so few games that Chimchar can actually be in. Alright, as for the next Pokemon, Drifloom, ironically, every time I see this Pokemon, I know there's a story to it with the Windworks power plant and all that, but for some reason I always think it's a Generation 5 Pokemon. I do not know why. I know all the Pokemon Generation 5, and this is not one of them. But for some reason I think it. I it's weird. Um Banary, it's okay. And then, of course, it has a Mega Evolution. There's a few Mega Evolutions in Generation 4, not many. Mischievous, I do use it, and I know I just said that whole thing about Amipom, but I like Mischievous. So, that being said, not a big deal there. Just moving up the Mega Evolutions to get them out of the way here, because, why not? Um, but yeah, Mischievous is one of my favorites, Ghost Pokemon. I have another one. Um, just moving some of the Pokédex only Pokemon up because I don't use them on my team. Usually can catch them in their evolved form at some point or another. Now, with that being said, Generation 4 also had a lot of baby Pokemon. Um, so therefore, Stunky and Stunking, I can't stand that Pokemon. Oh, I can't stand it. Um, but back to the baby Pokemon. Um, Generation 4 introduced a lot of third level evolutions and first level evolutions, hence the Badoo insanity there. Bonsly, um, Mime Jr., Happiny. Chatot is not one, and neither is that thing, but Munchlax is. And not that I care for Munchlax. I am so frustrated with Munchlax. Um, Hard to find in Legends Arceus, even though there's a spot for him to spawn in. Um, Carnivine, I cannot stand Carnivine. Oh my gosh, thank you, Legends Arceus. I cannot stand Carnivine. That fish, Luna, whatever, is getting to be about the same. Snover and Abomasnow, the Sneasel, Weevil, and these Pokemon are all additionals. They're more or less for the Pokédex. I don't use them at any point, just to evolve them. Togechick, the whole Togepi line, I can't stand. Manga? Oh yeah, I do use Manga at some point. Not very much. Um, the Eevee evolutions, I do like all the Eevee evolutions, so they're always going to be in the amazing section when they're in the game. Gliscor and Gliscor are some of my favorite Pokemon. I know it still breaks the Ambipom line. Um, Rotom and its different forms are interesting, especially in Legends Arceus when there's no electricity, but yet you have a washer and dryer and a fridge, and a fan, and a stove. Why not? One more. Um, I know I skipped several Pokemon just moving those up, and there's a reason why. And I hope y'all don't mind, but we're about to go over that here. Now, Gibble and Gabbit are okay Pokemon. They do annoy me a little bit. Um, due to their how long it takes to evolve. Garchomp is one of my favorites. Railu and Lucario. Oh my gosh. This has took some time to get to where I like Lucario. Mostly because how much it was shoved down our throats in Generation 6. Um, but yeah, I do like Lucario. Grogon and Toxicroak are decent Pokemon. I do use them from time to time. So that's why they go up here. Um, just maybe one more Pokemon. Glade. If I want to suck in Pokemon and I'm using the Ghost Pokemon like Dusclops or Darkrai or Frostlass, I will use Glade, hence because it's a Generation 4. Ralts and Curly obviously are Generation 3, but when I don't want Mischievous or Frostlass, or because I'm using Darkrai here, I'll go over in a minute, this is my choice. But Darkrai is one of my favorite Ghost Pokemon out of Generation 4. I mean, there are so many good ones, but Darkrai is a pretty good one, and I do try to put him on my team. Most of the other legends and mythicals I don't actually put on my team, including Palkia and Lugia, not even Arceus. They're okay Pokemon. I don't have nothing against them, especially the Mantine, Fury, and the Lake Pokemon. But overall, just I either catch them for the Pokedex or I don't make much effort to do it at all. So, with that being said, I do hope everyone has greatly enjoyed this so far. I know I enjoyed it, um, and everything. So, with that said, um, and everything, my favorite Pokemon though is my opinion. This whole tier list is in my opinion. I know others are going to have disagreements and whatnot, but you know, it is what it is. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below, and definitely leave a comment. All right, folks.